Good morning, everybody. All of a sudden, we are back once again. Good morning. Wonderful to see you. Family's out the door. Coffee's fresh. I figured now was the opportune moment to try to get some work done on continuation of AV. Figured I could clock a few hours doing that at least. Let the coffee start working. Hope everybody's doing well. It's another completely boring random day in Denmark. Weather is looking shitty. Supposedly it should be getting better soon, but I failed to see that just yet, I'd say. Anywho, we can't do anything about it. All the regulars are here. Gear is looking the same. The only thing is I actually got around to yesterday was getting the AV reputation revered quiver. So an upgrade on 2 slots and an increase in range attack speed by 3%. That's something. So now trying to close out that final Frostwolf reputation. I actually did not mean to push the sort button. I like it my way. This is not my way. That's what happened. That's what happens. You fuck up. Seem to have a lot of shit in our bags, don't we? There's a lot of quest items that really need to be removed at some point. Hopefully some of it will be soon. Anywho, not so much left to do, at least in terms of AV. Basically, as soon as we finish up Reputation, hit 999 Exalted, my inclination towards doing more is probably gone. I'm fairly sure that I will settle for capping out Exalted, and then that'll be it for me. Anything else will have to wait until Arathi Basin comes out. it's not important enough for me anymore. So I think that's basically where we are. Let's see here. So I'm not even sure what we get here. What did we get here? These might be cool. Let's see what these can do. I don't know if I necessarily believe they're impressive. These are... I'm not sure I appreciate the stat itemization on these. This one's better, but you know... This one, no, yeah, this one's okay. This one, I guess, must be for enhancement. Well, I guess we can conclude even now that with unless something else really comes up, there's probably, unfortunately, an itemization gain to pursuing Arathi Basin reputation. Yo, Nier nominee. Good morning. Thank you for showing up. Such a pleasure. How are you this morning? Cheerful and selling as ever? I think, you know, actually, I would appreciate, I think you, as a bare minimum, when you come in and you know, you're looking to promote a product, you, at the very least, you should be dropping a follow, right? I mean, this is a quid pro quo situation, right? You want something from me, so why can't I not ask for something in return from you? So, you know, if you're honestly looking for customers, the first thing you should be doing is dropping a follow, right? It's a good way to break the ice. It's a good way to, you know, promote what you're about. You know, I'm sure the follow you drop has some worth for about 5 minutes until you get banned, but still, it's a way to keep those numbers inflated. Now you basically just leave me hanging. As always. You disappoint me, basically. You're a constant disappointment. You know, Daddy's not angry, he's disappointed. Anyway, the grind is well underway. We're closing in on the finalization of Frostwolf. So what do we have here? 4,300 plus another K. So 5.5K rep. It's still it's still quite an amount, considering that we average maybe 200-300 reputation per battleground. So it's still gonna take a while, but slowly but surely. I think the whole, still back to the visitation or the concept of just keep grinding at it little by little. I've done the same when I've ended up building houses. You know, Sometimes, especially in the beginning, it seems completely overwhelming. You know, too much to do. You can't quite cope with the fact that there's so much in front of you. Then you get to the point where you make it halfway. You know, if you just keep going little by little, it will sort of reveal itself in time. Start looking more positive. Keep banging it out. Guilty says Kiter's still kiting over the Alliance base and resetting, man. Yeah. Things don't change. We go again. The continuation. Yo! Pirusia. The sub. Prime sub. Wow, thank you. It's kind of funny, sorry, I was a few seconds late in responding. Good morning. The sound was so unfamiliar to me. The one coming out of the of my speakers all of a sudden that I simply could not grasp what the hell was happening. So my apologies for that. It was a new unfamiliar territory. Good morning. That is absolutely wonderful. Thank you. I'm so humbled. Like I talked about it yesterday when the first one dropped as well. This is not something that I had expected in any way whatsoever. So I am humbled by the fact that you would even consider subbing in my direction. And here we find ourselves in the midst of trying to flesh out the last of the Frostwolf reputation. I think I calculated it was about 5,500 rep to go. And once we get to that point, I think we're basically going to put AV aside indefinitely and probably wait for Arathi Basin to come out before we do anything again. But hey, before we get to the fact that we're actually done with the before we're actually done with AV, you know, isn't the Arathi Basin basically coming out, right? So maybe we can get a few seconds off before it's on to the next one. But yeah, such is life. Hey, at least we have something to do. You know, there's only 1,100 different items on my to-do list still. I'm only rank 8. I haven't been pushing it really. It's been a matter of chipping away little by little. I've basically made it to the rank where I wanted to just to be for the early accessible gear. And from here I have no idea how far I'm going rank wise. I think right now for me it's probably more a case of I'm looking to flesh out the reputation, get to exalted, and then probably the same for Arathi. but I'm not necessarily, I'll say that for now, looking to push a specific rank. I'm sure once we get into it, you know, if you're all of a sudden closing in on some sort of a benchmark where you could do another, let's say 50k and get the next rank, you know, I might look it, but I'm not that stupid, right? So I might flesh out the next one as well, but it's not a sort of an imminent or pressing thing. It's more of a let's see what happens. So yeah, that is where we are right now, at least. But good morning. Great to see you. Hope you guys slept well. If you did sleep, I hope you're getting through anyway. Thankfully, I actually slept a good night for once. So doesn't mean I can't still enjoy my coffee, but it's definitely much less an imminent thing this morning needing it, that's for sure. I'm down to some maybe what comes out. Yeah, nice. Your favorite BG? Yeah, cool. I'm sure that there's gonna be a lot of people, especially from the guild, who will be keen on that. You know, everybody's gonna be needing it, so. Or let's conclude that it's not necessarily because everybody needs it, but there will be a lot of people who will be looking to do so, right? So the opportunity will present itself, I'm sure. And let's see, I missed another one here. My good man Melmon. AB comes out April 3rd. Nice. That's actually the most challenging thing right now for me, is that we get the keys to our new home on April 1st, and I do need to put in a shit ton of hours over there before we move in at the end of the month. So I've got a month to paint and build and all these kinds of things. So let's see if I actually get around to getting into AB before we finish the move. Yeah, thank you. Right now it seems like a completely daunting task, so overwhelming. So I'm very very excited and a little bit scared in terms of the level of progress we will get before we have to move in, right? The primary concept is managing to paint as much as possible before we move in, right? Because there's nothing worse than having, you know, moving boxes everywhere. Hey, look behind me, moving boxes. Having moving boxes everywhere, and you need to move them every time you want to paint the next wall because you put them over there because that's where they were the least in the way to begin with. So I think that's gonna be a thing. So I'm hoping that before the movers come, grab everything, move it over to the new place, that we've at least managed to paint as much as possible, so we don't have that aspect on top of everything else. But let's see. Yeah. That's gonna be interesting. I've actually thought about bringing my laptop to the new place, and then if I spent majority of my, not necessarily waking hours, but because I also do need to clock some hours at work, but I've been thinking about basically bringing the laptop to the new place and then just having the stream running in the background while I'm renovating, just for the hell of it. You can keep tabs on what's going on. You know, the only consideration is if I'm basically procrastinating, in the sense that if I bring the laptop and stream the progress I'm making, I'll actually spend up more time just standing around looking at chat, right? I'm sure if that that's the case, then I'm gonna get a renovation stream. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm considering it just for the hell of it. Could be fun. I mean, we basically made an Instagram account for the same purpose, like documenting all the things that we're doing. So I figure, if you're going DIY on Instagram anyway, why not, throw on a renovation stream, live feed. Could be fun. Maybe. Could also be that it's actually not fun at all. I can see the fun in it, but that's just me. The worst part is, what if it turns out that there's actually an interest in the renovation stream, and then once the renovation's done and I'm back to just trying to stream WoW, all the viewers drop off again. That then at least I sort of know, I know my audience. I'm sure there's an audience for that. Yeah, I could see it on some level. My wife, we talked about at some point once we've settled in. We actually, there's enough space. We wanted some chickens, just because. Why not have access to your own eggs, things like that? And she goes, if/when we get to the point where we actually have chickens, we need to establish a streaming channel for the chicken coop, because apparently there's this one guy in the Midwest somewhere in US who has a chicken stream, just a live stream from the hen house, 24/7. And he was clocking upwards of I think it was 50,000 viewers at a time. Just, looking at chicken laying eggs. It sounded completely insane to me, but fair enough. To each his own. It might be the same, wasn't it? Like the trans-Canadian or Alaskan railroad line that also live streamed out the front window of the train going from Anchorage to wherever it goes. The amount of people who will checking in on that was also quite impressive. There was also a stream at one point somewhere in Sweden, I think it was. There's a lot of these types of streams I know of. There's a ferret stream. Okay, I had not heard about that one. There's also one I saw someplace with a big stream somewhere in Sweden or Finland, where they broadcast for 2 weeks a year around the time when all the elk start migrating. So yep, it's a big thing. It's a big thing, bigger than I thought. But I see opportunity. Could be the new thing. Alrighty, let's see if we can get another quick one. I'll go to the right side. Five, 4. Here we go. Oh, the charge. Wow. They didn't even... I was about to say they didn't even kill me. They did, but the timing was off on that one, I think. I was unprepared for the fact that there was a secondary one coming in. But it got the job done. Sweet. Two quick wins. 9 minutes, 9 minutes. Yeah, roughly 10. it has been a consistent thing that these morning AVs generally go much better than they do later. It seems to be the case that Horde are a bit more like a morning fresh, whereas the lines are basically a bit more. They're a bit slower to get off the ground. That's for sure. 4,500 left. That's nice. What the hell happened here? Somebody's been just like. Not sure what's happening here. Something is. Like somebody's covered my keyboard and something. And by somebody's probably me drops something. Yeah. So 2 down. I didn't even check what was it. Let's see here. 400 rep. Yeah, roughly 500, 500. 4.5 to gay. 4,500 to go rep wise. So if we could keep the same consistency, that's 9 more. Probably jinxed it even now, but on paper, that's what we're looking at. Anywho, we made it to, we made it to Wednesday. Good job. Congratulations. It's Wednesday. Things are looking up. Only 2 days more to get through for the weekend. So, yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I am already now. I'm starting to contemplate. Have you done any Onyxia runs? No, not yet. Actually, we haven't. Honestly, I haven't actually done any raids yet so far. I have been. We've been trying to plan for some like guild-related events, and we're getting closer. I think one of the things that's always a bit of a consideration when you have a guild such as ours, which is predominantly casual, you have some people who are in the guild who level quickly. And they have to wait a long time for the rest of us. And then the rest of us starts showing up slowly but surely. Some of the guys who were done a long time ago, it's not that they aren't playing, but they either are working on something else right now, or maybe or have already basically, I wouldn't say burned out, but taken their first break because they went ham to begin with. So now we need to sort of incentivize them to come back, because now the rest of us are ready, and that's been a bit of a struggle right now. At the same time, being a casual, let's say, maybe we can summarize in broad terms that we are largely a no, maybe that's going overboard, but let's call it a mom and dad guild, in the sense that it's a lot of grown-ups with a lot of family obligations and work and stuff, that the amount of time we have available is very limited. And so managing to get everybody online at the same time is another thing that's sort of a challenge. So what we're left with is a lot of good intentions, a lot of high hopes, and less execution. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't have started pugging. I just haven't been in a place yet where it's been a big thing. But I mean, these past few days I've been really thinking about it. If nothing else, you can say just to not, at this point in time, at least you can get to the stage where you're not necessarily wasting your ID, weekly ID. So just go in. Hope you can get it done with a pug. Get our chance and add some gear, and then once we get to a place where we can consistently start to do things with the guild, that's gonna be what we prioritize instead, because that's the fun part. It's the guild related. So yeah. I know. That's why I can't reliably log on during the evening, so I prefer not sign up than sign up and up. Yeah, you can say, you know, I think what I have a tendency to do myself is that because we generally do drop the events on our Discord ahead of time, so I will either sign up as tentative, so like an indicator to say I'm you know I'm unsure yet, because then I'm not being taken immediately into the plan for people who are like confirmed. So it's more a case of, okay, I might be there. Don't expect me just yet. That works fairly well, because then you know, okay, these are the ones who've signed up. But you know, sometimes people have to sign off again with very short notification. You know, short amount, 1-2 hours before raid event. We don't mind. I mean, again, that's sort of the what it means to be the type of guild that we are as well, that you're okay with the fact that this is gonna happen, and instead of making a big deal out of it, you have come to the conclusion that this is sort of I was gonna say, this is what you have to work with. This is how it is, and you know, we will manage regardless. So I generally try to advocate that that's not what we want to focus on. We focus on trying to get something going. And, you know, if we have to pug one person or we have to pug 3 people, matters less, right? So I think at this point in time, we could say that even just managing to step inside the raid and kill one boss at this point in time would still be success, right? Because we haven't even done that yet. So anything flies, really. Yeah. So let's see if we have any degree of consistency. Can hash out another quick win. Damn it. Damage at least is on point this morning, so they find the worst possible place to position him. That was quick. Definitely going to be unsuccessful, but ouch. Let's think that that was unintended, but it might easily be something that will get us caught anyway. And then they start badgering each other. Nice pull, asshole. Gotta love it. Okay, I shouldn't have wrong time to be alt tab for a second. Missed the offer from somebody to res. At least now I have the longest run ever. You know, I was about to voice that I hope they can kill this without me, but of course, we know that's not gonna happen. As if, right? There's a lot of people there. Let's hope they can manage. Let's hope they can manage. Yeah. So, Wednesday? Big plans, anyone? Wednesday? Thursday, Friday? Anything interesting? Ouch. That's probably not enough to succeed. No plans this week. The weather went bad after a few days with 20 degrees. We're back to minus in the morning. Ouch. Okay, that's a big transition. We had 1 or 2 days similar in the sense that we had 15, 18 degrees plus, and then now we're back to somewhere just around zero. We are, as with Danish weather forecasts, it's 50-50 on all counts. They basically disclaimer you. It might snow, it might rain, it might be windy, it might be sun, might be tsunami. They basically cover all possible ends, but I think the consensus is right now that slowly but surely it's starting to look as if the temperature is going to rise little by little. We can hope so, at least. Would be nice with a sense of summer coming up. Iron butt. Weather forecast today. Look out the window. Yeah. Look out the window, and then you have a 50-50 probability of predicting what it's gonna be. On the other hand, I think that there's a lot of situations nowadays, not just in regards to the weather, where we've become so reliant on others. There's a lot of cases in which people aren't necessarily thinking for themselves anymore. Our reliability on others is maybe going a bit over the top, instead of instead of us sometimes figuring things out for ourselves. I think there's a lot to be gained by you can say the same sort of applies for so many other things in terms of what do we what's the first thing you do if you have a problem with something, right? You go online, you try to find an answer. Sometimes it could be that if you'd spend 10 seconds doing a logical assessment, you could have managed on your own, but no, you don't do that. You know, they what is it they say? They say that the average population has gone dumber since the introduction of the internet, right? Ever since you were able to Google everything, and especially now with GPT coming out, you know, the amount of knowledge that you will have will decrease because you're less prone to need it. You don't need to have it. You know, you're not, the likelihood of finding yourself on a remote island is even less, in the sense that you have information readily available at all times. We're getting dumber. We're getting dumber, folks. We are. Maybe we're blissfully ignorant. That might be the good thing about it, you know. Maybe we won't know, at least, you know. We won't feel it. So we don't have to worry about it. It's just a state of mind. It discourages critical thinking. Yeah, I mean, it really does, right? And I think that there are a lot of aspects in which that's something that you really want to avoid. Especially on the younger generation. Yeah, for sure. Really. Gotta get to those healers. Out of mana. Well, you know, all of a sudden we're in a turtle game, right? We haven't even made it across the bridge. Okay, alliance already started on Crick. Maybe we can get this loss over with. Wow, they're all battling middle, it seems. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Is that an indicator of somebody who's strategically hoping to AFK as much as possible? Corpsalina? Corpsalina. was expected they would win, right? We didn't expect to claw that one back, that's for sure. So let's see here. There's the one thing actually, you know. Let's say I do like this. I'm just looking here. Let's say we're going for rank. One thing I'm missing about the ranker, right? If I indicate that my intention is rank 9, 100,000 more honor gets me to rank 8 and 60%, whereas 165,000 gets me to rank 9 and 20. But I don't need rank 9 and 20. You know, why are you not showing what I need to hit rank 9? Period. You know, I would have loved to see the different breakpoints along the way. Same, you know, rank 10. This shows where I would be if I hit rank 10 and 20%. But if I'm only looking to hit rank 10, I don't need the 20% on top. So where between these two numbers is the breakpoint for hitting 10? That's, yeah. I don't follow that one. Or I wish that would have been something that they showed just for the hell of it. No, it's adding one line. So, yeah. It's a, you know, it's a small quality of life thing. Has no impact, no value beyond just convenience. And still, I would have appreciated it. I think I need to. I was messing around the other day with creating some of these different chat commands so that you can type exclamation point whatever and it gives like all these different info. I'm not sure if I actually got it working yet. Let's see here, just for the hell of it. Does that work? We'll see in a second. The next thing is remembering what the commands were, right? I guess that's also a thing. It would definitely seem as if it's not working yet. Another thing to put on the to-do list. Figure out why the things I thought I made aren't working yet, despite them being present. Two steps forward, one to the back. Ow. Somebody put a tree there. Somebody put a tree. That's still progress. Yes, it is. Yeah, and you can say, you know, let's say it turns out that it's just a matter of I forgot to enable it in some manner. So all the work has been done. It's just about turning it on properly. That still puts us more than halfway. So, yep, you are very correct. Ouch. They really do like me. There we go. On to the next. How are we doing? 18. So 4K to go. Okay. That's not bad. We were at 5.5 this morning. You know. Again. Looking isolated at a small fragment of it instead of trying to plan to eat the whole camel all at once. So there's a Danish expression. You might have something similar in your own languages. You know, don't plan to eat the camel whole. You know, divide it into smaller pieces. Makes it much more sort of achievable. Same applies for the AB. So what is it today? It's the 19th of March. So April 3rd is when Arathi comes out. So that's 2 weeks from tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So that means that if I finish the Frostwolf Rep today, and I'm not actively pushing for a rank, I could effectively settle for not having to do battlegrounds for the next 2 weeks. That could effectively mean that I would actually have a chance at looking to finish my prebis, which funnily enough, considering the fact that, you know, it makes sense to do that as the first thing, is not something that I have prioritized yet. So I could have maybe finished that if I wanted to. Let's see. I'm sure something else will come up before I even get around to it, but it's sort of a whole don't make too many plans because they never hold up anyway. We did I did a dire maul run yesterday with a couple of guys from the guild and a couple of pugs, and it was like a level 59 tank who I'm not sure he had to tank anything in a group context before. It was, I mean, you know, it was tough for him. He was really struggling to gather up the mobs, keep aggro, things like that. But it was actually very enjoyable. You know, he was committed. You know, he kept at it, and he was good at like being able to take suggestions and advice. So, you know, we ended up sticking around and sort of finishing regardless of the fact that it took a long time, just because it was much more fun with somebody who didn't just quit the first time you died. So yeah, we did have one intolerable person in the group who thankfully left. One of these guys who has a notion about how everybody else should basically play, you know, and play better. Who's like throwing advice left and right about which abilities to use, when to use them, how to use them. And he was like, "Oh, no, we pulled a pack that was a little bit too big, at one point, and he's in between trying to spam things, and he's like, oh, you know, drop a trap here, drop a trap there. Like, yeah, that's, you know, yes, nothing wrong with that, but you can't do that in combat, not yet. That's a later expansion, so I could effectively feign death, maybe drop one trap, but then I have to do it right under myself. Because if I don't, then as soon as I start moving, I get back into combat. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, then, you know, don't go on and on about all the things that you believe you know more about other people's classes. Yeah, tires me. I'll get tired. Let's see if we have the people. Come on. We have no kiters. Oh, we're going, we're going. Got a druid here. Made it. Ouch. 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 Okay. Well, I pulled it. You gotta be amazed by the fact that they turn around mid-stride and charge you right. I'm not opposed to it, but still. Hurts like a train. I hope they get it. Nope, we didn't get it. Oh well, live to fight Avi again another day. It amazes me consistently that we can have more than half the raid present at the boss, and yet across all the different characters we have, especially looking at the amount of mages we have, there's not a single other person than myself who is up for kiting, right? Just the sense of lack of responsibility on somebody else's part just to do it. Something as simple as trying to give it 30 seconds investment. But they're always quick to point the finger at why somebody else wasn't, you know. Another one of these very... I was gonna use the term funny, but I don't mean it, but like it traits... If you always expect somebody else to do things for you, you will often end up being in a position where you're just either sitting around waiting or shit doesn't get done, right? Let us see. A lot of people who didn't even make it out yet. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, that's TPS for you. Yeah, for sure. It really is. It really is. All talk and no action. How are things looking here? About normal. Mm. That's something that the heroics and TPC will change a bit. DPS need to do something else and just yeah, true. I think it's a worthy exercise in the fact that there's a lot of things to learn. I mean, I think I'm not sure based on my very limited experience with retail, but still, we're talking about the fact that right now people are used to. Well, I'm actually gonna hold off a second. People are so used to just Zerg everything, right? That all of a sudden you end up in a situation where you have a challenge in which people actually need to know how to perform some degree of crowd control, and when they don't, that's when you wipe. I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee before we start the next one. That's why I just canceled the queue for a second. I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. I made it. Success. I'm alive. Okay, where did we come from? Came from the blissfully ignorant days of trying to cap out AB. I was looking. 18. Just under 4K to go. If we end up averaging I know 100, 200 rep per game, it's still going to take quite a while. So let's see how things go. Oh well. See how it's going. Come on. Forty seconds to go. There we go. Come on. Just about ready to go. Let's kick the tires and light the fires. If anybody happens to remember that reference, it's an old one. No takers? Well, fair enough. I mean, I guess the quote could effectively be older than some of you, so you're very fairly excused. No, and I wasn't looking to call anybody out for it. It's just came to me. Not an epiphany, nothing like that. Just having a pop into my head by chance. We'll have to do a movies quote night. See who can identify various quotes. I'm sure that there can be different degrees of complexity, right? There's definitely some that more people will know, and then you can always try to do something that gets more complex along the way. Having done, it's not, and to be fair, I haven't done a lot of games. Start with I'm Your Father, Sword Out the Week, yeah. Having, I've done a very discrete amount of AVs compared to some of you, I'm sure. I'm at 46 right now, so you know that's not a lot per se. But have you noticed how even within a battleground? Yo, Mellow Marsh, you absolute devil, sexy devil. Thank you for the sub. That is unbelievable. Thank you. Really, such a pleasure. That is truly amazing. Had to get the founder's badge first. Yeah. I'll have to sell them. Yeah. I'll put you down on the Hall of Fame. No, thank you, man. That's really appreciated. I'm super humbled. Really am. It's we touched upon it maybe an hour ago when Bibirusia dropped a prime that the sound was so unfamiliar that I just I registered and I was like, where did that come from? Is it an in-game queue thing, something? Until I noticed that the feed was updating. So yeah, just goes to show this is unfamiliar territory. All of a sudden it'll be like, is that the fire alarm? Yeah. No. What was it we were coming from? We were coming from the whole complexity thing. No, we were coming. Oh, thank you, man. It was the as I was saying, so out of 46 BGs done so far, which is nothing compared to what some of y'all have been grinding out. Maybe you noticed from yourselves as well that you're such a creature of habit that you basically will do the same thing each time, right? So every time we go into Belinda, mind control. Okay, so there's actually a alliance here somewhere. Looking to leap me to my death. Oh, didn't work. That's impressive that I ran back up the hill. Well played. That's almost worthy of a clip. I gotta clip that later. That was cool. I'm not sure that that's actually an incline that you can climb otherwise. Had a very interesting night warning in this game. Okay. I'll have to clip that. No, but we're such creatures of habit that even if you notice, basically every time I've done Belinda, I basically entered the bunker and gone left. Except for last game, which was on purpose. But I was meeting with a couple of buddies the other day, and they said that we're in a position where we, as humans, we need to remember to challenge our brain sometimes by doing something unusual, something that's not just muscle memory. And they said it's a matter of you need to do that for about 5 minutes a day. And it could be anything from as simple as when you when you brush your teeth, you know, do it with the other hand than what you normally do. Or, you know, if you're inclined to always drink coffee from a mug in your left hand, you know, force yourself to do it oppositely. Things like that. Anything. They say, or if you walk backwards. I've been trying to switch up my strat every game so I don't go insane. Yeah, I can imagine. Especially pushing past, you know, I'm only rank 8, so I haven't put in the grind. I can imagine the amount of games that you've been through. But yeah. So, and you can say it doesn't have to be in-game. It could as well be at any other time, right? One of my friends was saying he was practicing this whole challenge in the brain by walking backwards 5 minutes a day. And said, you know, it's fairly doable around the house, you know, which is better. It's easier, probably also safer than trying to do it when you're at work or something, or heading to work. But still, it's an interesting thought, and I'm not, you know, there's a lot of different things you could do. And again, we're so used to doing things the same always, right? That even just getting to the point where you challenge the norm is interesting, right? I have another friend who said that to avoid getting like a carpal tunnel syndrome at work, he would always use his mouse in the opposite hand of what he normally does when he was at work. So if he had the mouse in his right hand when he was at home, he would always use the mouse in his left hand at work, just to do something differently and to avoid necessarily like an excessive degree of impact on it. So that was interesting as well. You know, I was like, okay, fair enough. I feel that sometimes, and I'm not even. I can imagine, you know, if your occupation is in some way something like, let's say, graphic design, whatever, where there's a lot of nitty gritty, little, very accurate movement, it might not be the place to do it. Adams, that's why I speak backwards at work. Okay, fair enough. I would be keen to see that. Maybe that's actually just what Master Yoda's doing, right? He's actually just practicing. So he's deliberately trying to shuffle around the priority of words that come out of his mouth, just for the purpose of making sure that he's actually on point with his max mental capacity. Worthy consideration. Might be some truth to it, we don't know. But yeah. So I'll have to figure out a way to go about doing something differently. I'm not sure riding my wolf mount backwards in a BG will sufficiently cover the need. Like, it's gonna take an awful long time to get anywhere. People will be like, what the hell is he doing? I'm sure there will also be situations in which you had the best of intentions and it just turns out that it's not everything that really works well when you try to change it up, right? That's also something to But yeah, riding backwards, wolf mount? No, probably not going to be a thing. But yeah, leaves much to be desired for, I guess. You might have a point there. Some people at work look at me like they don't understand my words. Yeah. And again, does that just speak to the fact that they haven't been practicing their max mental capacity? You know? It's there's a very minute difference between brilliant and complete lunatic, isn't there? So, I mean, I'm fairly sure that the first time Albert Einstein sort of presented the relativity theory. Wow, that's a tough word, actually. You know, some people must have thought he was speaking backwards anyway, right? So, Alliance are camping the... messages. Yep. Well, I've been messing around a bit with whether or not I should be running the BGs as Beastmaster or Marksman, and I've been switching it up a bit, doing a bit of one thing and then a bit of the other, and it feels like it's... I always find myself in a situation where the specific spec I ended up going with in a specific BG could have been the opposite for the purpose of getting anywhere. And then there's a rogue. Yeah. Oh. One less death to my name. Thanks to the win. Alrighty. Yeah, it was easier to joke around back in the day. Yeah, it definitely was. I actually, sometime in the late fall, I actually attended a course at work about harassment. All the different types of harassments, you know, sexual harassment and verbal and whatnot. And I wouldn't say necessarily, you know, let's say not specifically things such as body shaming or age, race, whatever, but the sum of it all, everything in that regard. And you know, the modern day tolerance for what you can get away with has definitely moved a lot. And I think for myself, I noticed that sometimes some of the things that you did, you know, 40 million years ago has also changed for sure. It has. But some of the examples that they gave about what you're allowed to do has also definitely taken a turn, that's for sure. And I'll be honest that there are also a lot of situations nowadays where I actually find it really hard to navigate what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And I brought it up as a talking point before the session was over. Said, you know, am I completely offbeat here if I stipulate that I think that sometimes we also maybe are getting to a point where we are like too sensitive. And at that point in time, I honestly thought that she would at least sort of say, yeah, you're right. In some regards, we are. She didn't at all. She's like, no, there's never a time anymore where it's acceptable to do, these things that we've just talked about, and it's never okay to put people in that situation. You have no idea what background they come from. You have no idea what they've been through. And it's like, okay, I can follow that part. And say, yes, okay, I follow that, but I sort of try to give the angle to say that mostly that my impression was that sometimes we have people who get very, let's say, very offended on other people's behalf, and that I think was an issue. Again, she was very there's. I get where you're coming from, but no. The short answer is no. Okay, fair enough. So I just, I have to acclimate. My wife came home with an example from one point. She worked for the army as a civilian, but still. And she said there was one of the educational centers around the country where they have all the recruits that are part of like the whole conscription thing. There's a young man, 20-ish, sitting in the canteen eating lunch, and there is a lovely mid-20s female who works at the canteen serving food, who walks by, and he looks up, and gives her like checks her out from top to toe because she's fair-looking woman, and that was it. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He didn't make any sort of rude gesticulations or other. One of the other women in the canteen pressed charges against him for sexual harassment, and he was kicked out of the army. And I'm like, I feel that's a situation where things have gone out of hand. I mean, for somebody who hasn't done anything else than actually identify the presence of a woman, I feel that was uncalled for. Yes, I'm sure that it's a thin line between what's acceptable and what is not, but at some point it also feels like the concept of, it's a third party who reacts to this situation. I feel that's where it, to me, something goes off. Something's wrong here. I mean, if the female in question who was being checked out had felt it was inappropriate, then absolutely, But I don't know. I gotta say, I'm still torn in the fact that I think also sometimes it escalates quickly compared to, if there's a situation in which I feel offended, I will basically, turn around, sort that shit out now. Like, what is your problem here, right? And of course, that's not for everybody. There's a lot of people who have a hard time with conflict. Yes, fair enough. But I think we're moving down a dangerous path where it's no longer always innocent until proven guilty. It's basically you're just guilty, and I think that's a dangerous ground to tread. And because all of this has to do with feelings, it's really hard to find a fair level of a fair balance to it, right? And that's a shame. It is, because I mean, I don't in any way want anybody to feel wrong or feel like they've been singled out or anything like that. That is absolutely the worst feeling ever. But at the same time, it's also all of a sudden very tricky to avoid having a lot of people unintentionally get accused of something, right? So how do we find some sort of middle ground, you know, and we're not there yet. There's so much focus, of course, on this whole Me Too thing, which makes perfect sense. It's many years overdue compared to when it should have been a thing, right? It's been a problem all the way up through the 80s and 90s and whatnot. So it's about time, and it required like an avalanche revolution to get it off the ground because it was so overdue. It's more a case of now we ending up in a situation where we're going too far the opposite way, right? Have we gone too far in the other direction compared to what we needed to, or what makes the most sense to find middle ground? And that's probably where I'm at right now. I'm uncertain as to how we find something that's reasonable, and I'm not sure we're there yet, you know. So I hope that's something that will get more attention, you know, so we can find something that fits the need properly and protects all the people who need fair, honestly, to be protected. But, you know, I think also with the whole talk of protection, it's also important to remember that there's always two sides to each case, right? So we can't always just conclude that whoever is being charged or accused, that it was malicious intent, or, you know, or that the accusation had fair basis, right? So how do we do that? I'm not quite sure, but yeah. Okay, so here. Yeah, touchy subject for sure. And yeah, like I said, I think very much overdue in a lot of ways, you know. But yeah, I think it's a super good topic in so many ways, on so many levels, but also really, you know, delicate, sensitive. So many things in that regard can so quickly go wrong. So yeah, I hope we're in a good spot. Oh. I missed the newer version of I missed the later expansion version of a Disengage, where you can pop it without facing the enemy. So it basically will activate, and you can use it even when you have your back turned. That would be nice. Could sort of precast it to mitigate some of the damage from the knockbacks and the cleave that you always get. So how we're looking? Okay, so 2,085 honor to go. 2,000. I'm already signed up. Forgot about it already. 2,085. Okay, we're getting there. We are getting there. That's nice. Slowly but surely. Wasn't that the mantra? Alrighty. My phone is going off right now. Some people at work who are up early. It's kind of funny. Predominantly the company I work for, because it's a startup company. There's a lot of I'd say young people. When I say young people, it's mostly because somebody who is only 30 is still young compared to what my birth certificate says by this point in time. But mostly young in the sense of it's a lot of people who probably are just starting their first actual job, and so they're new to the job market, and looking at, like, we have a very very flexible sort of a setting for when do you show up, when do you go home, all these things. You can basically pick and choose your own hours. So we have a lot of people who generally show up fairly late, late being after 9 a.m, oftentimes 10 a.m. So, and that they're fair enough. That works for them. It I think for some of them it gives them an opportunity to, sleep in, so to speak. Have a slow going morning. Get up and shower and whatnot, and then show up at the office. And if you don't have any family obligations, that works super well. You don't have to be home at a certain time. Dinner doesn't have to be on the table by 6. Things like that. And then you can see that there is the other part of the company, the few of us who are, I would say, even just 30 plus, that typically have family obligations. We are the ones who typically will be in the office early when it is. We're split out across 3 different floors, and on the bottom floor where I sit, there are not a lot of us who are 30 plus. So some days when I'm in the office, because on the days that I go to the office, I will typically be there no later than 7 a.m., mostly to beat the traffic heading into the city, because I live outside the city. So even just beating the traffic means that I'm there bright and early. But, some days I can basically end up being there all by my lonesome for 3 hours, It's not quite half a day's work, but, getting there in the sense of fairly long amount of time. On the other hand, I'm typically out the door no later than something like 3 p.m. Because that fits the best with how things are with the family. But it's interesting to see the whole concept of differences in this area, right? So you have all these people who just taking things as they go, coming late, leaving late, versus the rest of us. But being there early, often days there's I can almost bang out half a day's work without seeing another person. But today there's apparently a lot of chatter going on some of the work threads, so that means that somebody's gotten off to an earlier start than normal. So my phone is going bring bring bring, chatter. But yeah, I'd say I don't miss big corporate. Having worked for companies in the past that had anywhere between 2 and 20,000 employees, you're just a random face in the massive crowd. Versus now, we're even a big scale. We're basically a scale up now. We're not a startup anymore. We're closing in on just around 300 people, so that's a lot. But the mentality, the vibe, the eagerness, the appetite is refreshing. Compared to the whole corporate thing. Some people you work with in corporate, have basically given up on life. You know, they know that they're going to be doing this for the next 40 years, and you can see it in their face. You know, their dead eyes. It's just, it's a paycheck. I show up every morning. I do whatever it is I've been hired to do. I couldn't care less if things go good or things go bad. I'll leave when the day's over. I'll be back tomorrow doing the same thing one more time, right? 40 years is a long time, my friends, if that's how you feel. Even in comparison to the AV grind or rank 14 grind, I have to say. So, man, that's just uphill. No. But all of a sudden, then being in this environment, the whole mentality, the vibe is remarkable. You can feed off of it in a good way because there's a lot of eagerness and appetite that's infectious in a good way. So that gives a lot of incentive for a lot of things, that's for sure. So I do not regret my choice in swapping over to a startup, and I'm not sure that I will ever be able to leave that environment again and go back to corporate banking, that's for sure. I think that will kill me slowly. I wonder what it's like to be a clicker. I've never been a clicker, but trying to juggle my coffee cup, not put it down, and then still do some sort of participation means that I'm left with the only option of clicking. I'm not sure how that would fare. It would take me so long. You could but I can, I can actually, it might be, we talked about it earlier, no? The whole challenging your mental capacity. Maybe if you do, you could basically get away with playing with one hand, right? So use the mouse to turn, to run, and then click all the buttons, all the abilities for damage. Okay. So let's see here. We have kiters. Okay, good. So I don't have to. That's nice. That's nice. Come on. We're underway. Oh, he's almost dead. Okay, damage is impressive. There we go. Smooth. We are getting there. We are getting there. Feels good, man. Feels good. Alrighty, let's see here. So I'm trying to do way too much at the same time. See if I can figure out why. Oh dear God. So I mentioned the fact that I tried earlier to create some bot commands just for the hell of it, messing around with it. For some reason, all the ones I created are gone. Okay, well, I'm not even sure. Where are we? Okay, so we're missing 505 points to hit it revered. No, exalted. And then another 999. So we're just about there. Oh no. What up, Foxy? Why the oh no? What's with the oh no? What do you mean by bot comments? No, no, it was, no, it was on the Twitch channel. You can create these different commands where you do like an exclamation point, let's say guild, and then I can pre-fill a text that is triggered when you call up that specific command. I tried to make some of those the other day so that good morning. Yeah, first things first, you know, always cover the most important thing first. Misunderstandings. No, so I was just trying to prepare something like you could do an exclamation point guild, and then it would say, you know, the guild is Unity, we're on Thunderstrike, yada yada yada. That's fine. I thought I had it figured out. Like I said, I thought I created some of them the other day, and for some reason they're all gone today. So I'm gonna have to try again, and then I'm gonna have to make sure I figure out why they didn't stick around. I've been messing around with maybe a bit too many different settings all at once, trying to get tons of different stuff to work. So I'm sure I messed up somewhere. I'm using Stream Elements, yeah. That's where I did it. But, you know, let's conclude the likelihood of it being like a user error is fairly high. So probably I forgot to click, you know, whether it's save or something like that. Yeah, convoluted, yes, they definitely are. There's I think right now, even just the sort of the integration between the whole Twitch interface versus OBS interface, utilizing stream elements. There's a lot of like dependencies all of a sudden because you're outsourcing some of the work to another add-on, and you know, I'm still trying to make sure that everything is talking together. Like I said, I tried to set up the configuration to give on-screen announcements for you know, even just follows, potentially for subs. I wasn't expecting any subs, but follows. And for the first 50 followers, it didn't work. You know, those were the, in my opinion, the 50 first ones were the important ones, because that was sort of the benchmark for affiliate progression, right? And it wasn't working at any point in time. And then reading up on it about a week and a half ago, it turns out again that there was sort of an interaction between what was being sent by Twitch that needed to be integrated into OBS to trigger properly. So, yep, slowly but surely, progress is being made. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we'll get there. Right now, I was looking at like little details for potential overlay. I was looking to put like the whole. I remember having a ton of research when I started. Yeah, yes, exactly. So now I've been looking at everything from like having an on-screen overlay. So what you would see here, we could add a frame around the webcam, frame, or we could, have a banner across the top that always shows latest, latest follower, latest sub, anything really. So I've been trying to find something that I would consider using, and then having to assess whether we actually want to use it. But even now, it's just okay, finding something that looks pretty. Yeah, you like something like that too. I found within Stream Elements, if I log on to their website, they actually have a ton of different overlays that you can download free. So I've been looking there just for something, trying to identify a suitable color scheme that I want. Yeah, these are all, this is all flavor. This is seasoning. It's not something that means a whole lot, but still, there's nothing wrong with presentation, right? I mean, same thing as putting on your best suit when you go out to that fancy dinner, right? It's not the important thing, probably for most people, is that you're there, but you can still look good doing it, right? Same when you go for a job interview, depending on what type of job it is. There's a difference between showing up looking like you're sleeping in the park versus looking like somebody who's dressed for success ahead of time, right? So, yeah. Let that be a note to you. Aesthetically pleasing, yes, I like that expression. It's it's an accurate reflection, Let's go so far as to say that it's probably more the phrase is more polished than just being a piece of eye candy. It's sort of bordering on being something that's coming on like being sexually demeaning. Refined, yes. You have a way with words this morning. I don't, but yeah, you're completely right. Although I'm sure you could still get in trouble for, saying that to a perfect stranger, right? I must say you look aesthetically pleasing this morning, right? You're still going to find yourself in a situation where it's a 50-50 on whether or not they can appreciate it, or they just slap you, throw that drink in your face. You love words and etymology? Okay. That's cool. Speaking of words, using words to speak of words. When was it? This was Sunday. We didn't have a lot of plans Sunday. We were in the process of packing, and the two of the oldest girls were out of the house, and the youngest was home with us, and we were walking around packing. And sometimes at home here, there's like a competition for who gets a chance to talk. Who actually gets the ear of the family and of the parents in particular. So all of a sudden, she really took her chance and like seized the moment to really voice everything that she could think of. I think she talked for 3 hours straight, whether I was listening or not. And at the end, I had to simply tell her, you know, sweetie, I need a break. My ears are tired. You know, I can't keep up anymore. It was absolutely insane. Yeah. Yes. And it's funny because sometimes, you know, it's almost impossible to drag things out of them. But at the same time, at others, it's the complete opposite. Women processing things verbally for the most part. Yeah. And I think men are a complete opposite. So it's more likely that you basically can get through an entire thought process without voicing a single type of sound even. So yeah. Yes. But yeah, it's we got through it. You know, I think she, you know, she took a breather for maybe 30 seconds, a minute or so. Boyfriend's the same. Sometimes he says he's thinking nothing else. Yes. I can confirm. Yeah, I can actually identify situations in which I'm not actively thinking on something specific. Like, you know, it's not that there's no processing power going on, but it doesn't have to be anything, you know, big or sophisticated and that's the thing. Whereas my wife, you know, I can hear the gears grinding in her head at all times. Yeah, but yep. At the same time, maybe that's why she has a hard time falling asleep at night. And I do not, right? I can basically decide to go to sleep, lie down on the pillow, and I can be out on average in less than 10 seconds every day, consistently. Okay, are we going places today? Hello? It looks as if we are. I have to go. Nice to meet you. Happy streaming. Thank you. What wonderful that you stopped by. Hope to see you again. Have a great day. See you later. Okay, we are off. And they are off. You know what? It could actually be funny to consider including the sound effects from when you go to the races. Ouch! You know, if you go to the horse track, when they open the booth and all the horses, you know, leap out and start going across the track. There's typically that announcer guy going, and they're off, and we have in the first lane. I've on more than one occasion thought about wanting to implement that in the game for when you pull Vandar. Ouch! Oh, okay, I didn't manage. That was shit show. That was a shit show. Thank goodness. Nothing that can't be cured with simply trying another 5,000 times. He's still going. Is he resetting now? He is. Oh well. Okay. Somebody... It wasn't even a rogue, you know? A couple of marshals. Came out of stealth. Tore me apart. Life is tough. Seems like they're pulling again. Let's try that one more time. Excuse me. Ouch. See if I can preempt this thing for once instead of getting my ass handed to me yet another time. Okay. At least we're alive for once. Well, we probably need one more. If we're lucky, we only need one more. Where are we at? That was also low quality win. So we're at, well, this was the one I was looking for. 158 rip. We're getting there. So what are we missing? We're missing 47, 247 plus 1,000. 1,246 points, I believe, to hit max exalted. How long is that going to take? It's going to take us an average of, so if we're averaging 200 rep a game, 6 games, if we manage to clock out at somewhere between 400 and 500 rep per game, we can settle for 3 games. So we're here for somewhere between 1 and 2 more hours, and then if all goes well, we should be done. Let's see. Okay. We go again. Let's see how we fare. How things looking here? There we go. And they're off. Or you could, maybe it would make more sense actually to have that voice clip sound when the gates open, right? And they're off. You hear the, you know, that the pistol going off. Anywho, let's see how we fare. What else was there actually? So right now we're basically inklings away from getting Don Julio's band, which is impactful in the sense that one of the few things that I'm still horribly behind on. I haven't done anything for it either. I mean, I haven't done anything to gear up, especially was rings. So my rings right now are miserable, but I'm still missing all manner of farming for the Ring from Princess, and also from tribute runs. So, yep, still lots to do, places to go, people to see, gear to farm. But, right now, we're so close to finishing this, we could basically put a check mark on the to-do list for Frostwolf reputation. Check. And then move on to the next thing. At least, there's a goal we're working towards that we will actually finalize. Which, it's about measuring those small successes. I read an interesting article some years ago, actually, about a guy who said he was I wouldn't say guidance counselor, but he was a mental coach for extreme athletes, people who typically had a need to chase some sort of adrenaline rush. So, people for which running a marathon couldn't cut it. This was people who needed to, bungee jump, hands tied behind their backs, down the world's tallest mountain while trying to drink a beverage, something, to the very extreme. And he said that the problem they often experienced was that they had developed this very sensitive need for the whole dopamine adrenaline rush to kick in, and they would sometimes it was something that you would plan and prepare for a long time. Let's say climbing Mount Everest. You don't just decide to do it and then do it this afternoon. So you plan, you prepare. You get in shape or whatever you need to do. You do altitude training, whatnot, everything in that regard. So you spend 3, 6, 12 months in preparation mode, right? Where you're gearing for this. And then you get to the point where you actually go do Mount Everest and you succeed, and it triggers this insane amount of adrenaline and dopamine that it gives you a high. You go completely satisfactory mode. This is the pinnacle of life. Everything is buzzing, and it's a high, and you ride that high, and they do so. And this guy says, so they ride this high for 2 weeks maybe. Everything is great. The world hasn't been the sun has never shone brighter. The trees have never looked greener. The grass has never smelled fresher. All these things. But then already after 2 weeks, the sensation starts to wear off. And by the passing of the first month, they're basically back to normal. And the problem is they have to start chasing the next high. Something new to work towards that can give them that same satisfactory feeling. And so they basically end up repeating the process once more. So you have to find something else that's maybe even more extreme, or at least equally extreme, because otherwise the adrenaline dopamine rush that you get, it's not big enough, it's not impactful enough. So you find something that's even more insane. And the thing that he, basically the whole purpose of the article was to talk about how this was like a dangerous path to go down, because you always keep chasing the next thing, and it at some point on, what's the next thing gonna be? How are you gonna find something that can accommodate what you need physiologically to trigger this sensation? And so he said the thing where they go wrong, let's not use the term wrong, but maybe in out of lack of a more accurate term, where they should be moving towards to find a way to do this differently, is to learn to appreciate the journey and not the destination to a wider extent. So it's not about being keen on what the end goal is, you know, and what the result of the end goal is. It's about getting to that stage where you effectively can look at the entirety of what you're doing from start to finish and appreciating that and getting a high off of that. And I started doing it a couple years ago, even just when playing WoW, you know, because WoW is a big game, lots of things to do. But if you're always chasing the end goal, if you sit down and you start a fresh character and you keep telling yourself, I just need to get to 60, you know, then you're missing out on everything that happens between level 0 or level 1 and level 60. Once you get to 60, you go, I just need to grind my pre-bis gear. So you start grinding out the gear, you know. Then you get that done. Then you go, okay, I'm finally ready for raids. Now I just gotta get into raids so I can become bis. But if you keep always just focusing on something that's ahead of you and waiting for that gratification that you get when you achieve it, what are you missing? You're missing everything that happens up until that point, right? Which, to a wide extent, is the majority of the game. So if you can learn to appreciate the journey for what it is and, you know, look back on it and say, it took me a little while longer to get to 60, but man, it was fun. This time around, I decided to solo level all the way, or this time around, I decided to make a character that I would only level in dungeons, you know. Took me longer because it was hard to find groups, but it was fun in some other capacity or way, you know. I think that's an important, it's an appreciation and a consideration that I actually really enjoy. I really try to utilize it for so many things nowadays, to say, you know, be careful that you don't always look ahead at something. Same goes for we've had some years here, you know, family wise, where you as a working individual, you have, you know, we're actually fairly privileged in Denmark in the sense of how much vacation we have on a yearly basis. Typically you have somewhere between 6 and 7 weeks paid vacation a year. And so there's at least an opportunity to distribute that throughout the year and on different strategic points in time. So you can take some days off for Christmas. You can take some days off around Easter. You can, as a luxury, you can probably typically plan to have 3 weeks off during summer vacation to spend with the kids, right? They're out of school for 7 weeks. But when the kids were young, we could basically find ourselves in a situation where we were going, you know, I'm so looking forward to summer vacation. You know, we're going somewhere, you know, we're going to Italy for 2 weeks or whatnot. Which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But if summer is 5 months out in the future and you're looking forward to a highlight that's going to be all of 2 weeks and doesn't take place for another 5 months, it's kind of a shame, isn't it? There's 5 months to go. What's going to happen within those next 5 months? And if you're always just looking at something that's ahead of you instead of appreciating or enjoying where you are now, then, you know, what are you missing? So I think that also being able to change the mindset and say, there's always a silver lining. There's always something that you're doing either today, tomorrow, or in the coming week that is enjoyable. That is, you know, a sensation. That's worth a memory, worth a thought, worth an appreciation. So you know, look at the smaller things, you know. Enjoy the wins for what they are instead of always looking ahead to something else that is better later on, right? The grass isn't always greener somewhere else. And I think that, you know, it's not unusual human behavior to always be, you know, looking for that something. But at the same time, what are we missing? So yeah, maybe words of wisdom, I don't know, but at least it's something that I've come to appreciate for myself. And yeah, worthy note. So there's that free piece of advice. You're welcome to use it. You're welcome not to. You know, I claim no intellectual property rights of any kind. There's no copyright. See how it fares here. Miserably. Ouch. Alrighty. That was probably a miserable attempt. Let's see if we can try again. Let's see what we can get up to. So, let's see if we can get going. Alrighty. Hello. Are we there yet? How many of you have ever used that specific phrase, you know, as a kid, sitting in the back seat maybe of your parents' car, going somewhere? Are we there yet? You know, and you're inclined to do so after the first 5 minutes, and then you can basically keep going every 5-10 minutes for the rest of the journey if you can get away with it. You know, the lack of concept of how long time is when you're a kid. You know, just like continuously repeating it over and over and over. Come on, let's go. Ah, okay. So close, she had no cigar? No, not really. So that was horrible. Okay, so I Gonna queue up in a second. So I'm going to step away for about a minute. The washing machine just finished, so I'm just gonna actually take the clothes and put them in the dryer just so we can get started. So if you will bear with me, I will be back in about a minute or so, and then we can continue. So here. Okay, be right back. Be right. There's so little room left here. Squeezing through with a cup of coffee to get to my chair. It basically sometimes feel like I'm sitting in a warehouse by now, hidden away beneath boxes and everything. Like, oh wait, wasn't there a guy who used to work here? Anybody seen him recently? I don't know. Haven't seen him in a few years. Turns out he's still working there, just forgotten, dumped somewhere far corner. That's me. That's how I feel. Anywho, let's see if we can't finish this off. So the last one. So we're missing 60. Missing what? 60 plus the 900. So we're missing 100 and what? 1068 rep to go. Something along those lines. We are getting there, slowly but surely. Alrighty. See if I can squeeze out the last few things here. And then I just had a thought a second ago. Actually, just for like the future. At some point on, I need to find out if there's either somebody in the guild or somewhere in the area, the vicinity, that I can call on, who's like a creative spirit who can help with some visual aid. Oh, and Onur. We've got a guildie in the group. I'm not alone. Yeah, no. So I want to find a creative designer, whatever it's labeled, called, at some point on, who can get hired on for a bit of work. I want to create, amongst other things, at some point, like an avatar for the Twitch channel. I was thinking about either getting somebody to do like a cartoonish interpretation of a picture of me, you know, not just I have out of necessity, you know, I have that whole corporate picture on stuff like LinkedIn or whatnot, but it doesn't really suit here, I think. So I want to do something else. So that was a thought, doing something along those lines. Yeah, and then I was thinking about maybe at some point getting some like requisitioning something for like guild colors, a guild banner, something like that. So at some point I'll need to find somebody who's capable and up for the job. But for now, let's see if we can't flesh out the remainder of the reputation. Don't even have a healer. Shit show. It'll take a long time. One down. Hey, you're now exalted. Immediate goal achieved. Fair enough. Success, you know, that was what we were talking about. Remember to enjoy your successes. It's a win. Whether it's a small win or a big win, doesn't matter, it's a win. This is we're going to be in here for a couple of hours still, probably, right? It's slow going. Oh my god. Well, I think we can conclude that this has been at least the slowest kill ever on all the lieutenants around here. No? Fair enough. Such is life also. That's also a thing. Considering how few people it seemed like were inside the bunker, the amount of representatives we have on the map here seems inaccurate. I would not have guessed that there were that many people. Alrighty. Well, moving on to the next one. We are so behind. Yeah, somebody just wrote, we're so behind. I'm sure that's the case. When you take 30 minutes to kill Belinda, you probably are way behind already. Let's see if we can get continuation going. It's funny, you know, since we started this morning, I basically have not even checked up on the amount of honor that I've gotten, because it's been solely focused on the reputation grind. I have actually not looked once. Let's see. So we're okay. We have 30k, and can't remember what we had this morning. Half of that maybe. Did we? Let's see. We can probably calculate it somewhat. So today, no. Okay, we had. Okay, we didn't have half. We probably had like 5,000 maybe. If that. Alrighty. Let's go. So, how's it looking? A lot of people in the middle. Wow, work is going off. Work chat is popping off right now. I probably might actually have to end up finishing up this one and then jumping off so I can catch up on whatever seems to be the issue. But let's finish this first. Can you angle? Okay. We're good on bunkers. Okay. Hot cute. We've talked about it before, right? You gotta appreciate some of these names, whether you really are into them or not. If you know the reference from Yogi Bear, got a Yogi Beer. Whopper menu. Yeah. There's no way. Vredesbyrde. Burden of anger. Danish name. Yep. We got it all. Best guy. Yep. Only forks. I mean, the name and the character creation are the two hardest parts of this game, right? So finding the time and the brain capacity to create something good, you know, it's tough times. It's tough times. And so, you know, what do you end up with? There's no knowing. So, you know, reset was today. I've got 6 hours, I've got 6 days, 17 hours till next reset. On the one hand, it might be that I wanted to, little by little, chip away, aim to get, let's say, rank 9 before that reset. I really would have wanted to be able to see what the breakpoint was to hit rank 9 and 0%, right? So I can conclude it's somewhere between 79 and 144k, but other than that, you know, I have no idea yet. Would have been nice. Wouldn't have been that tough, would it, to show just for the hell of it? I can probably go find it somewhere, but let's see here. Honor. Nope. Not so easily found. Just trying to look here at the same time as playing. I can't figure it out. It wasn't so easy just to figure out what it was meant to be. Ah, we're going. There's nobody here anyway. It's a wipe. Oh, could I get it? Oh, could I? Oh. I decided to give it a shot. See if I could actually manage to squeeze off the res pit first. So close. The initial pushback was actually what got me. On the other hand, you know, if I had been standing last man, wouldn't really have mattered, would it? But we tried and we failed. We tried and we failed. Story of my life. We tried and we failed. A novel in six books coming this summer. Okay, so we're not quite going again. Not just yet. We are. One second. Let's see if we can get here and actually participate. Oh, there's a mage. Okay, let's go see if we can capitalize on this. I hate it when they get so close. You're on a 3-second cast timer. Feels like it takes forever to get off your shot. And then all of a sudden they close the distance to where the minimum range is exceeded. And the shot just goes to waste. The only good thing, as far as I remember, is that when you use an ability, you don't pay the ouch. You don't pay the mana cost until the shot has gone off. Whereas for a boss, it's the opposite. A boss basically pays the mana cost when they begin casting. That's why you can basically successfully manage to interrupt a boss as late as possible during a cast that they're doing, and then drain their mana pool. Right, so you just keep interrupting as late as you feel comfortable doing during whatever channel cast they're doing. Let's try that one more time. I'm sure the Alliance will beat us before we get it, but still, let's try it. Okay. Do it. Go, let's go. Let's give it a try. Ouch! See a guy here? You're gonna have to drop it. Where the hell is it coming from? Feels like a loose cannon. Ouch! What the bleep? I feel very chased. I'm not sure I'm still alive. You know, normally I'm not either. No. Skillful player? No, not the case. Maybe I'm just lucky. I said that too quickly. I jinxed it. But yeah. What I lack in skill, entertainment, wisdom, I don't make up for in any manner, but I still have fun. I'm just kidding. We're going again? Wow. Okay. That seems unplanned. Ouch. Okay, I better get away. Can I reset them if I'm lucky? Thankfully. Apart from being miserable, this is going worse than that as well, right? But it's not only going miserable. Yeah. Okay. Well, it happened. It happened. So where are we? We're at 120. We are basically, you know, we hit exalted, but if you know me by now, you know that this doesn't work for me. I'm a completionist. We gotta work to the end of this bar here. So I'm gonna have to keep queuing. Unfortunately, work seems to be going off right now, so I think I'm gonna have to log off the stream, grab a work call or two, and then see if I can flesh out the rest of it soon. So I'm gonna unfortunately have to leave you for now. It was such a pleasure today once again. I'm gonna have to go back and create a clip of that earlier mind control as well, just because that was funny. But if push comes to shove, I'm probably not on tomorrow morning. I might be on tomorrow evening because we're looking to do a guild raid. So I will drop an update if I do. And other than that, I think I might actually be on again on Friday morning. So it's been a progressive week, lots of content, or at least lots of hours of me just yapping on. It's my hats off to you for bearing with me. But it's so great that you're here. So lovely to see you. Take care for now. Adios. Have a great day. And I will be seeing you again at some point. Bye.